welcome to another episode of Raging Out in Clash. My name is Jen, and I'm here, as always, with SK.
Hello.
And today we are going to be talking about nothing really exciting, but I mean, it could get exciting depending on where we kind of lead into. We've got our bases to talk about. We're going to talk about how those are coming along. We're going to talk about Clan War Leagues because, as always, you know, they're a little bit exciting for us. And then we are going to talk about clan recruitment. We've had a few people come in and out of the clan, so we're going to talk about that. And then I finally have a Can't Fix Stupid. I was quite excited that I finally got one and remembered it. Well, kind of remembered it, but I have one. So we're going to finish off with that as always.
You say that like it's just me that incites all the stupidity.
No, it's just, I never remember them. You at least write them down and you remember them.
I don't write them down. I just remember them because they're stupid.
Well, I know, but I mean, even that, like, I didn't write mine down, and I forgot about it. I had to ask you what it was if you happened to see it in chat when I said it, because I said, you know, I can't fix stupid. I said, you know, I said your name. I'm like, I finally got one. And then I forgot it the next day. So it was, yeah.
Well, I mean, we do handle a lot of stupid, you know, in-game and outside, so... I
do.
It's understandable that we can forget just from the sheer amount that we are exposed to in the day-to-day life.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what are we going to talk about today, Jen?
Our base.
Oh, yes. Okay, so how is your base going?
Well... let's see, what do I got here? I've got 106 walls left. Got 4 air defenses, 2 infernos, 2 bomb towers, 2 mortars, 3 wizard towers, and 3 cannons.
So not a lot.
So not a lot, no. I've done all my archer towers. They had 2 levels, so that was a grind there. My cannons, I've got 3 more left with the second level. So I've done the first level of all of them. I've got 3 more left of the second level. My mortars, I've got 1 left at the second level and 2 still on the first level. And then 3 wizard towers, 2 bomb towers, and the 2 infernos I have left. I did one of them. So it doesn't seem like I'm getting anywhere, to be honest.
But that's good though, isn't it? Because it keeps you busy and keeps you. Does it keep you engaged, or is it just because that they're so long to upgrade that it's more tedious than engaging?
I think it's because, I mean, I always said that it would be easy to raid and get loot. I think it's because it costs so bloody much. And I finally get enough, and it's just like, oh, I get to put one thing down. Woohoo.
Yeah, it doesn't get any better at 10 health 13, by the way.
No, and I mean, the length of time doesn't really matter, because, I mean, in that time, I'm doing other things as well. So, I mean, the length of time doesn't matter, because then it's like, okay, because I always stagger my upgrades as well. So I, you know, every couple days I would have a builder coming free. So it's not like, you know, I've got 3 coming up at one time or whatever. Like, I stagger them out purposely just to kind of, you know, have that available when it's there. I've gotten all the new collector levels done though, because as you pointed out, you had read in the forum somewhere that somebody had figured out that, you know, it's an extra hit for a queen or something to get rid of. So I thought that was important, so I made sure that I got all those done quickly.
Mm-hmm. Have you noticed a difference? I mean, do you get hit with queen charges a lot?
You know, I don't even look at what I get hit with. Lately, it's been a lot of people dropping a hero and leaving.
Really?
So I've been getting, it looks like I've gotten here air, heroes, air, E-drags, minors on that one. E-drags. Yeah, it's mostly E-drags.
Mm.
And that could be too because I don't have my air defenses done. So when they get to my base, it's like, oh, this is a Town Hall 12, but oh, those are 11, air defenses. So it could be that too.
Are you not getting your air defenses up?
My bases tend to do well against E-drags
because you're kind of, what you're doing is kind of like a troll base, but on a slightly more subtle level, whereby you're preempting people thinking, oh, look at those puny air defenses.
Yeah.
But you've actually designed the base so that it takes advantage of that fact, and actually it's not as easy to take back air.
And I did the same thing at Town Hall 11. I knew that I had a strong base, so I didn't do my air defenses, and like 95% of the attacks that I got hit against me was always E-drags. And I left my air defenses to the end for that reason, because I knew the base would defend well, even with Town Hall 10 air defenses, just because of the way that the base was designed. So, it's, if people want to hit me with air, yay! If they want to hit me with the hybrid, I'm getting 3-star because it's too strong. So
yeah, I don't use that attack because I don't like miners. I can't. They're too hard to follow. They're like herding kittens. It's like, oh, here they are. Oh, but they're not there anymore. I don't know where they've gone.
I remember having a conversation with you. I find it hard to follow them too. It's like, but this is where I want them to be, so this is where I'm going to throw the heal because that's where they should be. They should be right about here. I'm going to rage them up, and then it's like, okay, they should be through the rage. This is where they should be now. Drop the second heal.
What you're doing is kind of like a blind man's attack. Is that what you're going to do? You're like, okay, I'm just going to drop things here, and I think this is what happens in my attack. I'm not actually watching this attack.
No, because I mean, you're creating the funnel, right, to keep them all in the middle. So if you know that you've created the funnel on the outside, you know that they're somewhere in the middle. And I mean, chances are they're going to be in a pack because, they're pack troops or whatever. So, I mean, it's an educated guess that that's where they're going to be.
You're like, but see, and I don't work like that. I like to know this is what I expect to happen. I like to see it because it gives me, I guess, some sort of comfort that actually things are going to plan, because if things aren't going to plan, I can respond to that.
Because for me, I can understand that, because that would be like the peck smash attack for me. Like, I know where my troops are going. I know when I've got to put my spells down. I know when my jumps got to go down. And it's like that. Like, you like seeing, okay, everything's going to plan. This is, what it's supposed to be. But with the miners, because it's so strong, it's just like, yep, this is where they should be. Heal.
But again, at the same time, though, because don't you feel like maybe you don't know if you've wasted a spell somewhere where you didn't actually need the spell?
No, because I always know that the first one is either going, depending on how much damage, like depending on how the bases design where I'm going in, it's either going to be a Grand Warden ability right off the bat because you want to keep them alive and you don't want that eagle on them. So I'm watching the eagle. I'm watching if it's going to be hitting the miners and the hogs. Because the miners can dip underneath and they don't get hit, right? So it's either going to be a warden ability or a heal spell right off the bat. And then I know just from previous attacks, it's heal, rage, heal to get everything flowing through the middle quickly, and then the queen is, meeting up with the rest of your troops to get the rest.
Yeah, but with that, for me, because I like to, I guess, get that feedback, with that whole using the Grand Warden ability to block the eagle. But at the same time, there's a part of me that's like, well, should I have it now because I know that the miners are going down and therefore the eagle won't actually hit anything, so therefore you waste an ability of the warden.
Well, yeah, no, that's what I mean. Like, it all depends on where I'm going in with that at the time. I mean, obviously you want to save the Warden ability if you're around the Town Hall because of the Giga Bomb, because of the Giga Tesla, or, you know, whatever else. But it all depends. It all depends if you know, it's me hitting a Town Hall 13 and I've chosen to go in where there's a scatter shot, you want to use the ability because those scatter shots do a lot of splash damage on those troops and you need the Warden ability. I mean, but you're also using a free spell as well to freeze that so you don't, you know, might not have to.
It's all just, are you just like, okay, this is where I think things are, I've just put them down because, you know, in my head that's what they've done. Where...
No, it's that, like, I mean, obviously, I'm joking about that, but I mean, it's, you know, you're looking at the base, it's like, okay, this is where I'm going to put my heal, I'm not going to use the Warden ability because I'm at the other side of the base, I want it for the Town Hall to make sure everything survives a little bit later. So then, you're using your heal, but it's still, like, I still go heal, rage, heal, even if you've got to rage through, you know, the eagle shot just to get your hogs going a little bit faster, your miners dipping further, or not further, but faster underneath the ground. Like, it's still heal, rage, heal with spells.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm still not gonna like them. I have never used a hog at Minor Army. Ever. Oh, I have, but never with any success. I think it's true that probably a lot of it comes from repetition and trying to, you know, getting some of that muscle memory or you know, knowing actually this is where they should be, like you said, but I don't know, they're just not my kind of trip. So sorry, we've diverged there. So your base, you're still knocking out those hero upgrades.
Yes, I've got my king and my warden down right now. I've got a 35 warden and 61 king, so it'll be 62 and 36. I'm hoping before next leagues that there will be a hero book of some kind in Klein Games or as an event that I'll be able to get the other one caught up and be equal, just because I like putting both down at the same time and finishing at the same time and whatnot. So.
Which is actually a smart way to do it if you're a war player, because, you know, if you put your warden and your king or your queen down, that's using two different kinds of resources, so you're not having to choose, but also you're doubling up on that time and shortening the time that you're out of war.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we'll probably touch on that later, but it's not efficient as a war player to do one hero at a time.
Yeah.
So I've gone through so many hero books that, you know, translate to gems.
And then troop-wise, I think I have one level of golems left. I've got, I think, Valk's finishing up right now. I've got one level of golem left. I've got one level of skelly spell left. And one level of goblin left. And then that's it. I don't have a lot of troops left.
Just that, eh? Because remember, at that in the lab, it's only the one troop at a time. You know?
Oh yeah, no, like that's at least a month. At least a month.
Do you think your defenses will finish faster than your lab?
No. Well, maybe, because I will be using builder, because I've got my heroes down right now. If we search for a war today, I'll have to use some builder potions if I'm going to be in. So my defenses will finish a little bit earlier, which means I can raid and get some other ones down. And I would like to do another hero upgrade before next leagues, so that would be more builder potions. So it will be speeding along some defenses, but I've got at least 2-3 months left of defense. 2 months for sure. 2 months for sure.
Well, so you're not going to 10 or 13 anytime soon.
Well, I mean, I'll be 10 or 12 a while.
Well, good, because
I would like to learn. I keep saying this at every town hall, and I don't do it. I would like to successfully learn how to queen charge Lalo, just because it is such a strong attack. I see a lot more of it in the tournaments and stuff that people like. They're still using it. In the beginning, it was they had to adjust to the scatters and the splash damage and whatnot, but the good Lavaloon players are still using it. And I mean, it's like any attack. If you're good with it, then you can make it work. And so I would like to eventually learn and maybe not perfect, but be good with it, like confident with it, so I can use it in more, because I know it's like the minor attack. I mean, you carve the funnel into the base, and then as long as you've got an easy path around the base, you're kind of laughing. The Queen Charge Lalo or the Sui Lalo is a lot more difficult, just because you can't really find your spells, because it's wherever your loons are going to go. So and that's why it's a little bit more difficult. Maybe that's why I haven't done it yet, just because it does take a little bit more time. So we'll see.
Okay. Well, we can add that to your bucket list. Okay.
And you?
My base. Well, these parts where we talk about our bases are gonna get real boring because they'll be all about you at some point. Wait a minute. That's not what I meant. I didn't mean that your parts are boring, but I mean that they'll be shorter. I mean, because at some point I am gonna be fully maxed. I have got max heroes. I've done all my lab. Granted, there wasn't much lab work at 13, I don't think. And I've done all my walls now, so that's all the elixir I'm ever gonna use. I'm always gonna be maxed out on an elixir. Um, so the only things I actually have left is defenses, of which, as of this current point in time, I have 2 defenses left to do, and they are, 2 bomb towers, and I've got 1 builder free. So actually, with a bit of farming, I'll only have 1 defense left.
And why did you leave your bomb towers to the end?
Because so Infernal Towers, I upgraded them at because they were most likely either sped up or booked, because sometimes in our wars we were matched with people that were crazily top heavy. So at that point I thought it was a better play to actually, either put down that Infernal upgrade and just finish it, so that I could have some defense to sort of, I guess, balance out that waiting between us in that war. Because they're all going to have to get done eventually, so I might as well choose to get them done at that point, so I get some sort of, I don't know, marginal benefit out of doing that. So that's why the Infernal Towers have gone down. And again, they weren't at my.
I think that's what I did with mine too, and my expos just kind of. Yeah.
So they weren't my choices to do them at a particular point in time. It's just whatever war we had at that point sort of made it seem logical to do it at that point in time. And bomb towers are then the next most kind of expensive. but I mean, that doesn't bother me because I'm going to be maxed out anyway, so resources are plenty where I am. But I think that actually bomb towers weigh quite heavily versus, I guess, your archer towers and your mortars. I think I read somewhere, I could be mistaken.
I would think like everything, like weight wise, and this is just me, I don't know, being naive, but I mean, your eagle would obviously weigh the most, then it would be your Inferno Towers, your expos, your bomb tower, kind of just what you get at every town hall. That would be,
but bomb towers are unusual in that they're not that special, right? Because like
they were the defense at Town Hall 8, so I mean, I would assume that they would be,
at Town Hall 8. That's what, 5 town halls ago, right?
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's just like you're saying that the bomb tower would be heavier weighted than an archer tower, just because you get archer towers at the first town hall or whatever. It just kind of
true. No, that's true. But I think when I was whatever I was reading or looking at, and they were talking about the weights, I was quite surprised at how heavy a bomb tower was. I don't know if they're more heavy than, let's say, a Expo or an Infernal Tower or what have you. I don't know if it's at like a Town Hall 8, but I was surprised. Actually, I was probably more surprised at the difference between, I don't know, was it the mortar and the bomb tower? And the bomb tower was significantly higher than the mortar, I think. Don't quote me on that, but I was, something about it when they were talking about weights surprised me that the bomb tower's weight would be that much. So I've left them for last just now. I do, oh, well, they're gonna get done, but I do feel a part like bomb towers are underrated right now. I've kind of, well, not right now, but in my head, I quite like bomb towers. They don't. I mean, I don't know. They probably don't do too much damage, but I think a lot of, maybe not the pros war people and whatnot, and all the base designer people that do it day in and day out. But I think for your average Joe, I think they underestimate the bomb tower because of the fact that once they're done, it's actually a giant bomb as well. Um, and apart from the town hall, no other defense once it dies does something.
I like it just because, like, a lot of people, they sometimes put giant bombs around the bomb tower, and, to get that really big explosion, whereas I kind of don't do that, just because, people think, oh, there's a bomb tower there, there's a hole there, they probably have another bomb there, so they're going to drop a heel there just to protect them.
Yeah.
Whereas if you can kind of use that, thinking, you can place your giant bombs in other spots where they won't use a heal or don't think that they, have to use a heal because they've assumed that you've put a bomb beside that bomb tower. So I kind of use sometimes to that advantage that some people think that way.
Nope, I think that's and again, I think that's sort of taking into account base design and actually thinking, well, what does this defense do well and what doesn't it do well, rather than making it look pretty. Although you did give me a hard time when I had a war base that was symmetrical. I'll say again, it was not symmetrical, but you told me I had a symmetrical base, and you were surprised.
What happened to that base in Leeds? Didn't you run it in Leeds?
I ran it once, yes, and I did not get 3 stars.
Was it a 99% 2-star? Was that the one?
I don't know. The reason I don't like a lot of my bases right now is because the reason why I don't like the bases you want me to take is because the bases you want me to take, I don't like the fact that they give a lot of percent away.
Right, and a lot of the understand that.
When I'm in war, and because I'm one of the top bases, and percentage counts, I don't like that fact that I'm already giving away so much.
Right, but I mean, if you've got those trash buildings that are, far enough apart, maybe still in range of a defense, I think the bases that are designed that way are more so for time fails.
Yes, but in our clan, with our matches, it's normally always going to be about percent. So, but buy me a base that doesn't give like 20% outside. Because,
I'll keep looking, bro.
Well, just because like you get a queen walk and there you go, that's 30% gone already. So, and nothing's hitting it, because what it's like one defense is hitting it all the time. That's not gonna do anything. It's just gonna do that. But yeah, so I mean, yeah, it's hard to find a good effective Town Hall 13 base, right now. But actually, that's actually something I was gonna speak to you about. I know that you had mentioned it before. I was thinking towards the end at some point of the season, we could try pushing up to Legends. Because people in Legends normally always, because you use your war base.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if I'm in Legends, even though I only ever see 8 bases a day, I'll probably see some good bases from there. Or at least just below Legends, people moving in and out of Legends. That way, that'll expose me to a lot more different base designs, because a lot of the base designs I'm seeing right now are very samey when I'm in the league that I'm in. So there's not much to inspire me, because I'm not one of those people that are great base designers and can start from scratch. I'm more of a, okay, I like that, but I'll tweak it a little. I'll make it my own. But I probably can't build a good base from scratch by myself. So, yeah, so that was a diversion. So yeah, I'm pretty much fully maxed, and I'm just got like all elixir, all dark, done. And my next build comes free in 1 day and 12 hours. So in about 3 days, if I get a move on with my farming, all my builders will be busy and every defense will be upgraded or in the process of upgraded. So you might want to bear that in mind for war, because I'm already
before next week's, by next leagues you'll be fully maxed.
But I'm already bringing in. Well, you're bringing in another 13.
Yeah.
But my weight probably has risen a lot since the last time we spoke. So probably just bear that in mind. Unfortunately, my upskill ability does not rise with the number of defenses I have complete. They are not proportional to each other. If anything, they're disproportionate, as in they go the opposite ways. My defenses go up, my skill ability goes down. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. But I'm now at that stage now, because I've got the season pass. I'm not bringing in any of that into my season bank because I'm maxed out, and that's annoying. And I'm glad that they've got that super troop thing where I can just dump 50k dark elixir, so that I can just actually get some headroom in my storage to put some more into the season bank. But actually, now that I'm talking about this and I'm thinking about it a bit more, it don't mean diddly, because it don't matter if I fill up that season bank, because I have nothing to spend it on. Well, never mind, forget that, I'm not bothered now, I'm not fussed now. Well, just in the past, unless they're planning on releasing an update before the end of this season pass finishes, which is unlikely, highly unlikely, then come the end of that season pass, I'm just gonna have full again and nothing to spend it on. So there's no point actually getting all that stuff. Yeah, sorry. Just sort of thought that through. I'm like, I don't actually need any of this resource, so why am I wanting to fill up my season bank? I think it's just because there's something to fill up, we should just do it. So yeah, my base is, yeah, I'm gonna be filling next time we speak. Okay. So, I mean, I don't know when the next update's gonna come out. Normally when I hit being maxed, they normally bring out like another update, and I'm like, oh, doing this again. But
I don't think there will be another one until probably July.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think there'll be another update for a good few months. Well, I mean, they said they're gonna try and do one every quarter, aren't they? But with all the pandemic and all that stuff, they're probably delayed and stuff. But
yeah, I mean, I would suspect this year would be probably maybe 1 or 2 more upgrades or updates, just because I mean they're gonna have to be with the ESL qualifiers and stuff like that. Now they're doing, or the championship, they're doing, the first 3 online, so they're gonna have that all set up, and just kind of, I mean, I think their priorities are gonna be in a different area.
Yeah, part of me thinks though that And this is not to say that that's not what we've seen before in the past, whereby, you know, this championship kind of took over everything and everything. It felt like nothing else was going to happen until this thing was over. But I feel that those things should belong in a different department in their company. You know, the people that are designing, the programmers, all those people, their job qualities are not to organize a championship league thing.
Right.
So technically, in my head, I'm thinking, well, that shouldn't stop anything from them working any, you know, doing their job and actually carrying on outside of this thing happening.
But too, because the qualifiers and the championship has been pushed back now, they don't like introducing too much new stuff during that time, because it does create an unfair advantage to certain teams that are qualifying and getting in.
And I do not like that element of it, but I can understand why they do it, and you know it makes sense, so that everyone's on a fair sort of grinding. But it sucks for your average Joe player. But
they don't make the game for the average Joe player anymore. They continue the game for the pay-to-play guys, to the ones that are going out there and promoting it and saying, you know, the esports teams now. So
yeah, so it does annoy me. It's a little bit bugbear, but and also just touching upon that, the whole I'm gonna be maxed out and what the hell am I doing with my season bank and trying to fill it. I actually read something on the forums again, that you know how you and I like to have sort of friendly challenges, and you know we go on these farming sessions to see who can get the most loot in a raid, just to make things a little bit exciting. And I know how competitive you are. Well, I think Darian said that actually the most loot that you can get that was recorded is, here we go, what have I got? I wrote it down. It's 1.79 million of each gold and elixir, and then 12.2k dark elixir. That's the max.
I have found an 11.5 dark elixir.
Yes. Do you know what I'm been getting hit for? 11. Over 11 DE. And like pretty much. So I'm like, that's I should sort of steel myself for, that's what I'm gonna be, you know, giving away at some point.
Well, no, because it'll depend on who's hitting you, right? Because obviously the Town Hall 10s are going to get, you know, if a Town Hall 10's hitting you, they're going to get something like that, whereas a Town Hall 13 hitting you isn't going to get that.
Yeah.
But right?
It's available, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, but I thought that was quite interesting. And again, at the same time, why am I fussed that I'm giving away this much research because I'm going to be mad?
But you can go out there and get the same thing.
But no, I can't, because I can't hit up, so I don't get the multiplier bonus. But at the same time, I do feel a bit like, well, I raided that and you just took it from me, even though I don't need it. It's still mine, you know. So I mean, 11. Well, was it 12? Well, I get hit a lot for 11 KDE. That's a lot. You know, I mean, so. But I'm maxed out. You know, these are like, oh, maxed out problems kind of thing. You know, you're just like, I have a bit of bajillion defenses to do. I need that loot. Quit complaining. But I worked hard for that loot, so I will complain. Okay, what next are we going to talk about?
We can talk about our leagues next.
Okay. And how are they? We've always said that we get screwed because of where we are and our, you know, clan composition. That has not changed for this leagues. If anything, it's gotten worse. Because I think there are now more clans that are consciously choosing to sandbag.
And farm medals, yeah. No, absolutely.
What do you think?
I mean, with the people that we had this leagues, we could have very well probably not come in second last or in last place just by playing, our top bases, our top town halls. But I mean, as we always do, we like to give everybody that's in leagues a chance to earn their 8 medals. This go around.
So you did not remember last podcast and you said we could get promoted. That was before we found our match though, I guess.
Not gonna happen. But everybody got 8 except for one person.
No, 2? Oh no, because the other guy, he's not got his actual next round of stars. Sorry, I'm following you now. For a moment, I just remember because the war hasn't finished yet. The last war hasn't finished yet.
Yeah, there was a couple that didn't have 8 stars going into this last war, so I helped one to make sure that he got his 8. The other one, I was just like, I've been giving you advice all leagues on how to improve your tax, and you're just not taking it, or you're ignoring what I'm saying, not even acknowledging that I've said anything to you. I said, so this last war, he was just on his own.
Well, you can only, as the general for this league, you can only make the opportunities available if they can't be arsed.
Well, and this individual had more than one opportunity to get multiple stars on bases, but just chose to not take the feedback that he was given on how to funnel a base and get his troops in to go where he wanted them to go. And I mean, we had Town Hall 7s and Town Hall, this guy was an 8 and went to 9 during league. So, I mean, we had Town Hall 7s and other Town Hall 8s that just pummeled him in stars because he just wasn't taking the feedback and he wasn't learning anything.
Yeah, and just to sort of set the scene, we're not talking about attacking, like, our Town Hall 7s are attacking 8s. Our Town Hall 7s are attacking 9s. They're attacking 10s and 11s where possibly the Town Hall is near the edge and they're trying to get that Town Hall and get percentage for, possible 2 stars. Right? Yep. So, for a Town Hall 7 to be hitting 2, 3 levels up and to still hit their 8 stars, that is, okay, that probably just tells you the skill level of our Town Hall 8s and 7s, but for a Town Hall 9 to not do the same, they're only attacking, possibly, maybe 1 or 2 Town Halls up, but more likely a Town Hall up, because you try and give them bases that they're able to get, those 2 stars. But for a Town Hall 9 to not achieve that when, a Town Hall 7 can.
When they have an extra spell, when they have an extra hero, when they have like 40 extra troop space in their camps, like it's just...
Yeah, I mean, there's an argument that maybe the bases, they're not hitting the same bases. And you're obviously trying to give your lower Town Halls ones where the Town Hall is outside, whereas, you might have given that 9 with the Town Hall in the centre.
There were still bases where the Town Hall was pretty much almost close to the middle, and our Town Hall 7 got 2 stars on that base because of a funnel, because, just looking at the base and properly hitting it. Whereas, you've got this Town Hall 9 that just throws troops down and expects them, because he's cleared right in front of them, to all go to the middle, and he hasn't cleared the sides. Well, naturally, they're going to go to the sides. Like, they're going to go where the buildings are.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess let's just clarify that they're using, what's it? Go Vape? That's what they're using. But for me, I said this to you earlier today, for this new Town Hall 9, right, and we hear all the excuses, right, but if you're hitting a Town Hall 9 base that is also a new Town Hall 9, therefore level 1 Xbox, right, not even maxed out Town Hall 9, base that you're hitting. If you're hitting this base and you're using a power potion and a hero potion, then there really is no excuse that you can't 3-star this new Town Hall 9 base. If you were properly prepared for, you know how you're going to attack, you're comfortable with the troops you're doing, the fact that you are using max level Town Hall 9 troops, a hero potion, and you still only get 1 star, then all that says is that failure is all down to your skill. It's not down to, oh, my troop levels are just not up to par yet, my heroes just aren't maxed yet, because you're using potions to combat that. Right? So...
No, absolutely.
So, I do despair. So, I mean, I don't know. He has had the chances to get his 8 stars, but he's just not taking advantage of those. And he's the person that needs it the most.
He's had 1 stars. Like, it wasn't until this last war he finally got a 2-star. Like, he's had nothing but 1s and 0s, all leagues.
And, like, he's the one that will probably need these medals the most, being a new Town Hall. So, and then it's frustrating, isn't it? But
it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating.
But they want to go up. I'm quite surprised because he has a Town Hall 10 and not in our clan. But surely he should also know. So you think you've been through Town Hall 9 because you've got Town Hall 10. But why are you making the same sort of silly mistakes? And it doesn't sound like, to me, I don't know if you've spoken to them and you get a different impression, but it doesn't sound like, to me, he has a sort of, he doesn't have a plan of what he would like to do when.
No.
Right. And I'm not saying, get a spreadsheet out and plan out all your abilities and all that. I'm just saying, in the general gist, I'm going to get these things done because I want to do this for my army and I want to get these defenses. I don't think he's done that.
He didn't have a plan. He didn't prepare. He didn't have... clearly didn't have any books saved up. Like, maybe a hero book, but no book of building because, common sense would be do your spell factory, get that extra spell. Didn't do that.
Yeah, well, he's opted out because he's upgrading his spell factory.
Yeah, and then wanted to stay out of war for a week so he could get his army camps up and just do friendly challenges and learn. And I said no. You'll learn by being in war. Your camps will get upgraded when they get upgraded. The only reason you need to be out of war in this clan is spells and heroes.
Yeah, because war happens, that's 2 attacks out of 2 days. Is that the only time you're attacking? Because you should be, as a new Town Hall, wanting to do well, wanting to be an asset to the clan, you should be hitting in multiplayer. It's not okay, we'll hang back and then I'll just do friendly challenges. You should be doing those friendly challenges even if you're in war.
Well, and that'll be something to watch. It'll be something to see how many attacks he has once his spell factories are done, how many attacks he's getting in as a new Town Hall 9. You should be grinding, you should be getting enough elixir to get those camps done. You could use whatever army you're using, just be attacking.
Yep. It's like we've always said, don't care how you farm your base. We don't care what army you use to farm. Use your war army if you want to, hit both targets there by practicing your army and farming those good bases, but we don't have a requirement for that. You can farm with goblins if you want to, but you should be getting those hits in, getting to understand actually what, bases you're going to come up against. But and that's particularly with new Town Hall days, you should be, and you should be, they're normally always very excited to get new toys. Ooh, I've got the queen, what have you. So there is normally an uptick in activity. but it's more about maintaining that and actually, thinking about it. But that's something we've been seeing though in our clan for our Town Hall 9s, is that you get your uptick for new Town Hall, fancy new toys, new heroes, what have you, and then there's just this kind of drop, right? More so now with the books, the potions, the runes, and all that stuff, in that I feel like Town Hall 9s now attack less because they're constantly putting their heroes down. And they attack less in between. So, like, no, well, I mean, just looking at our clan in particular, I don't know if this is the same for all clans, but in our clan in particular, those people that are established 10 all 9s have very fewer attacks than the rest of the clan. Because they're constantly putting heroes down, and for whatever reason, there's just like, my hero's down, I don't need to play the game till they're back up. So, but then on the flip side, it's like, so you've not used your heroes for like a week or two. Do you even actually remember what they're about? So, and we're gonna see that again this league naturally, because when the leagues end, Title 9s normally put the heroes down because they'll have the dark. They've been waiting because for those, throughout the leagues, and not putting them down because of that. And now they all put them down. And what are you doing?
Well, no, I'm just looking at this new Town Hall 9. He's got 12 attacks. And he's got 2 of his camps down and his spell factor down. His lab is done.
See, I would have,
He finished his hogs.
But he doesn't use hogs.
I'm curious to see if he's going to use hogs.
But he's not been using hogs.
Upgrading one of his air defenses to Town Hall 9 already, but hasn't put the 4th one down.
Well,
so that's it.
I don't care about that. I don't care.
Yeah, no, but it's just, I mean, for me, it was put everything down that you've got new so you can build bases at least. Because what's the sense of upgrading everything and building a base if you don't have all the defenses? Like, it's just not gonna, for me, it didn't
Well, don't worry, just wait until he asks, does anyone have a good Town Hall 9 base that I can copy? And they'll be like, oh, I don't actually have that piece. So, there's no point.
That'll be coming.
But,
hold on, I just gotta kick a couple people here.
Oh, okay. Is it that time already?
No, it's just people
playing up,
coming in, not even saying hello, and that guy said hello, but he requested. And this guy.
So yeah, our leagues were. It was disappointing to see the number of clans that were clearly not meant to be in that league. I think at one point, we were faced with a clan that were pretty much all Town Hall, like true Town Hall 13s, and like a handful of 12s and nothing else. And I'm sorry, but even with the ladder effect, there's no way that they would be in that league if they're, playing as they should.
Yeah, no, they're just farming medals and...
Yeah, and we see it happen a lot whereby they're, they're using all their attacks. When they see us. Because, they might not attack all the harder bases for all the other clans that are sandbagging as well, but then they see us and then we're just like a puny little tiny fish. And they're like, oh, I'll just wake up and start attacking. But I do feel like we're getting demoted this clan league, but I do feel like we could have held on if we were playing at our, what I'd come to from, what I'd expect from our clan and their player and how they normally attack. I think.
Oh yeah, like we were nowhere near what we can be.
Yeah, so I do feel like if people were, at their best and at their usual, shall we say, even at their usual, we could have not been promoted. But I do feel like a lot of our Town Hall 9s kind of slacked off a little and have sort of used it as, oh, I'm hitting up, so I don't actually need to care. I don't know whether that's something you...
No, well, and I mean, absolutely. And I mean, I failed on one base. I only got 2 on one base. Our 11 kind of struggled on a couple bases, only got 2. Our 10 struggled. Our 9s were, just kind of all over the map, with the exception of a couple, and...
Yeah. So, and we all get dud wards. We all get points where we forget how to attack. But I just felt overall the Town Hall 9s kind of did not perform as we have seen them do. And it's like you said, we've got Town Hall 8s and Town Hall 7s getting those 8 stars and Town Hall 9s not. That's where your hole is. So...
Well, I mean, let's look at the thing here. There was 2 9s at the top. Like we've got you and me, and then the Town Hall 11, and then there was 2 9s at 11 stars, and then there was an 8 with 10 stars, and then a 9, a 7, a 9, an 8, a 7, an 8, a 9, 9. Like,
yeah.
No way should 9s be under the 7s and 8s. Like, it's just...
Yeah. And so that's a little disappointing. But, and again, also we were kind of... This always happens. As soon as there's any kind of BS in our clan, we always either lose the war or we always get demoted. And we had the biggest BS in this league this time around. So I'll let you explain that lovely story because it involved me.
The which?
The one that annoyed you a lot.
The one that annoyed me a lot. The one that left?
Yeah.
Well, what was the situation there?
So this, I guess, the background story, I guess, we should have some background story in that this was an established member, been with us for a while, knew how we ran, seemed pretty much on board, actually was on the cusp of getting promoted. So, and 10 Hall 9, and he wanted to be 10 Hall 10, which is fair enough, okay, and so he started as 10 Hall 9.
Did he join the clan as an 8, or was he a 9 when he joined?
I don't know. If he joined as a 10 Hall 9, it would have been a new 10 Hall 9, but I think he was an 8. I think he was an 8 because he's been here for a while, and then we were always saying, wow, his heroes have gone up really quickly.
Yeah, I want to say he was an 8 when he joined.
Aye. So established member, knew how we ran, knew what we were looking for, upgraded his Town Hall to Town Hall 10, I think on the second day. But yeah, you tell the story.
Well, that's kind of it.
Well, I mean, he attacked in...
Well, he had asked me a couple times if I thought he was ready for Town Hall 10. First time I was honest. I said no. I said, I don't think you're ready for Town Hall 10. I said, I think there are several attacks at Town Hall 9 that you still need to learn. You still need to kind of perfect. And that was last leagues that I said that. And the reason I said, and he waited, but I used that leagues as an example in that he was hitting Town Hall 9s with Witch Slap, which is like the easiest spam troops attack at Town Hall 9, and still failing. So he was still doing something, you know, and it wasn't just one or two attacks. Like, he was not getting 3 stars on Town Hall 9. So I said, you know, I don't think you're ready. I think there's attacks you can still learn. I said, there's no rush. Just because you have the Heroes Max, there's no rush.
Yes, and Town Hall 9 is the point where you have the most army diversity. There is so many combos open up to you at Town Hall 9. So just because you're good at one doesn't mean, you know, what happens if you get a base that is designed to combat that one. You should have, you know, a couple of attack strategies up your sleeve.
Mm-hmm. And so he waited, and he kind of learned how to do hogs. I had suggested that, you know, in our wars, that, you know, if he's asked to practice on a base, to maybe use hogs as practice just to kind of see what he could do with them. He took that as, I'm going to use it for my first attack on a fresh base, and he struggled. He used it for, I think, 3 wars, failed every single, like, did not 3-star any of the bases that he hit. So I started dropping him down on the war map to hit because he wasn't getting it. And it was just, he was expecting it to work because
he had max heroes?
He was copying one of the other players. Well, this is the army, and it's just like, yeah, but you still have to go into multiplayer and use it and attack and learn how the troops move because it's a new army. It's new troops. So, and I mean, for that reason too, just, you know, follow up from leagues, I didn't think he was ready. And I mean, I wasn't going to think he was ready in a month's time anyway because of what I was seeing in wars. Like, I wasn't seeing the progress. And then he asked me again, and I said, I didn't tell him that I didn't think he was ready because I knew that he wanted to go to Town Hall 10. All I said to him was, it's your game. I said, we will be expecting you to hold your own.
Yep.
I said, you will have to be able to hit these bases. I mean, we're not expecting you to 3-star max Town Hall 10 right away, but you will be expected to hit and 3-star what you're pulling for war.
Definitely.
And so he decided to go off, and it was in the middle of league, or second more into leagues, that it finished. And I had suggested to him, I think, some YouTubers, just because it's been quite a while since I've been Town Hall 10 as well. And I mean, excuse me, I know which towns or which attacks are strong at Town Hall 10, just from the Town Hall 10 that we had, our co-leader that we had to kick. I know the attacks that he used. I saw, you know, that they were strong because he experimented with a lot. And so, I mean, I knew which attacks were strong, and I, you know, gave him a couple YouTubers. I said, check these ones out. I said, some of them go in detail into the attacks and how to use them and whatnot. And I remember, like I said, like, you got to practice them, though. It's not just gonna, you know, this is the attack, this is how to do it.
Yeah, it's not osmosis by watching the attack. Suddenly it's not like the Matrix whereby you just download all the moves.
So, and that day in particular, I remember he had requested a couple times, but I only remember physically giving him a siege machine maybe twice. Once for sure. I don't know if I gave him twice. So I don't know if you had been giving him siege machines, but I know that he couldn't have been practicing all that much. And then he posted this replay with Frozen P.E.K.K.A. Got a 99%. I don't think it had a defending CC, and he was like, I can't remember what he said, and I had a feeling he would be using it in war. And I mean, with Frozen P.E.K.K.A, you have to be with the Infernos. I mean, it's a good army for multi-Infernos because you don't have to worry about single locking onto your P.E.K.K.A and losing the P.E.K.K.A. I mean, yes, that's what the freezes are with the singles, but you still have to be quick with them. And I've noticed that with our other 10. Like, just with the spells, because she lets the Wrecker go in, and then it's like, okay, freeze the Inferno, it's locked on, and she doesn't get that freeze down in time. So that's what that attack is with the singles. You have to be spot on with your freezes. You have to get them down early enough so you're not losing the troops. And I knew that he was going to use it in war, and I should have said something when he put up the replay, but I didn't, because it was just like, you don't want to crush him right away, but it was just like, really? Like, that's the army you're choosing when you used some hogs at Town Hall 9, and, you've unlocked bowlers, and you max P.E.K.K.A s? Like, you never used P.E.K.K.A s at Town Hall 9. Why all of a sudden are you using it now? And it's just like, whatever. And then he used that army in his war attack. And granted, he did accidentally press the wall wrecker to open, and things opened before it got to the town hall. But how he expected to get through the entire base, which was it was a square base. It was one of those 4-compartment square bases. How he expected to get into those
so it was the base that had like the squares and the segments.
Yeah. And how he expected to get into those compartments with no wall breakers, no jump spell, and single Infernos, and only so many freezes when his P.E.K.K.A s were just going to walk all the way around because all the buildings were close together. Like, and that's what I mean, where he wasn't ready, because he just didn't understand, base layout, and okay, this army is not going to work on this base because how are my P.E.K.K.A s going to get in there? If he had wall breakers, I could say, okay, as the P.E.K.K.A coming, the P.E.K.K.A would go in or something would go in. But if you don't break the wall, the P.E.K.K.A is going to go around, the single's going to lock on.
Exactly, and that base is built on that idea that, it's trying to lure you around that square with the Inferno in it, so that the Inferno's got to kill all your troops before you can actually get into the square.
And that's part of the reason why, he wasn't ready. Because, I mean, you can do the same thing at Town Hall 9. They put, squares around, like, there's that square base at Town Hall 9, too, with expos in the center. And it's the same thing. It's to get the troops to go around, so they miss that square with the thing inside. And it's just, had he used that time at Town Hall 9 to hit more bases in multiplayer, to see the different layouts, to be attacking different layouts like that with armies, he would have realized that. And I mean, I guess that's just where, someone like you or I has that advantage, because we've spent time as a max town hall at that level before going to the next one, doing that, attacking in multiplayer, looking at the different bases, seeing what, army will hit them and what'll work and whatnot. So
yeah, he failed hard because, like, yes, his Rekil died. Like, he released it early, but there was no way, even if he had not released it early, for him to put the Wrecker closest to the town hall, therefore not getting the value from a Wrecker heading to the town hall and breaking those walls, opening up a path for you. No, he put it right next to the segment that has the town hall in it, so his Wrecker would have broken one segment. And all the Infernos were in all the other segments, so there was no afterthought other than, once I've got the town hall, I'm not getting anything else, maybe percentage. So, there was no thinking of, okay, well, what happens after I finish up, clearing that one segment, because, like you said, there's no way P.E.K.K.A s were gonna go into that Inferno without going around the base first. I mean, he had 7 freezes, fair enough, but even with 7 freezes, he did not get one Inferno.
Because P.E.K.K.A.s are slow, and I mean, it's just, they're going to go to the closest thing, which is the stuff around the square. And I mean, that's just, game logic. Troops go to the closest thing. Yeah. The Inferno was in the middle. You had nothing to get it into the Inferno. So naturally, it's not going to go, it's just, it's a common sense thing. It was just, whatever. He failed.
But at the same time, right, okay, so if you were going to have that argument of, well, he's a new Town Hall 10, he hasn't probably faced Infernos before and whatnot, I'm sorry, but as a Town Hall 9 wanting to go to Town Hall 10, you should be hitting Town Hall 10s first and getting comfortable, at least with the mechanics of that.
And that's where I would have said he wasn't ready, because he did not get that time in hitting Town Hall 10s, and I know that he didn't.
But at the same time, right, the same time, you get Town Hall 9 bases that are built similarly to that Town Hall base, whereby it's the expo in that segment, in that square. And P.E.K.K.A.s would still walk around that while the expos are hitting you. So that's a viable Town Hall 9 base. So you, as a player, should have known, I've hit those bases before, because they're quite common. It's not like this is unique base. He should have been thinking, I've hit this base before and it had expos, and I didn't like it, and it's hard to get into those expos. And it's the same story with an Inferno.
Spend enough time at Town Hall 9 going through multiplayer, hitting bases like that, to know that an army like that wouldn't have worked.
Yeah. So I was the one that sort of tried to understand what he was thinking of at the time of his attack, because he had attacked and I had a lake, right? And I said, what was your thinking? How were you gonna get those P.E.K.K.A.s into those squares with the Inferno in it? And he said that that's what the freeze is for. And I'm like, I don't understand, because the base is designed for you to walk around that square, and you have no way of getting into it. You had no wall breakers, you had no jumps, you had no earthquake spells. There's no way. And then he just left. Doesn't even say nothing. Just, I don't know if he raged out and quit or what have you, but he just left. And I'm like, it doesn't matter if you... I would say the exact same thing to anyone else. I'd be like, what were you thinking? And I wasn't even actually that blunt. I've been more blunt before.
And I know that you had said too that you had the discussion with our other Town Hall 10 that there needs to be some kind of tank going in there for the wrecker as well, and you can't just throw it in there first and whatnot or something like that. And it was, he just left, and he changed his name, I think, the next day. And immediately when I saw that, I'm like, okay, he's going to try and come back either as a max Town Hall 10 or as a Town Hall 11, because he's changed his name and he's going to think that we don't know. And so it'll be interesting to see, for sure.
Yeah. So I think he is going to try and come back, because obviously our clan is closed right now for leagues. So he I don't know if he's just sitting waiting for us to open the clan again, because I haven't invited him back. So he's
probably going to say I accidentally clicked the leave button.
Well, people have told you that before, and have they ever?
If that was the case, there would have been no need for him to change his name, though. So
yeah. And once again, he's got his heroes constantly under, so there's no way he's been practicing. But it was a surprise that he left, because he knows what our clan is like. He's been in the clan long enough. He's seen me and you and other people deal with people that are not,
Well, and two, it was a shock for me, because when he asked the first time if I thought he was ready and I said no, he said, he was okay with that, because he said himself, he didn't want to go to the next town hall and, you know, to struggle, to be, you know, to cause the clan grief because he wasn't doing what he was supposed to be doing. So it was out of the blue for him to just leave, because I mean, he just turned Town Hall 10. It was his first attack. Like, I don't know, I really don't know what happened. And I mean, I haven't gone to talk to him and ask him, because I really don't care.
And that's a shame, because, you know, he and also why it was still so surprising, because he'd been with our clan for a long time, and I, you know, we were thinking about promoting them, and, you know, he was active. He, you know, it just came out of the blue that he couldn't handle some feedback.
Was he an elder?
No, he was one of the people that we were gonna want to promote.
Okay.
Yeah, but apparently they flicked out before that happened. So yeah, and obviously that's been a disadvantage for us in the league that we couldn't put that in.
Yeah, that might have been the difference of us. That would have been the difference of us staying in league or not, or staying in Cold One or not.
Yeah, this is always BS, and that leads to, you know, a chain reaction of crap.
Yeah.
So on the other side, leagues will be over soon, so normal wars will start.
We will.
And we're gonna have a baptism of fire for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. Because somebody has been on a recruitment drive.
Somebody.
Yeah. And we've got a few new ones that can be in war. But recruitment's been I don't know. It's always let's say interesting when you're recruiting, because you never know what you're going to get. A bit of like a Forrest Gump quote there. But there are some people in there that you get, and that are just, that makes recruitment just that much more exciting. And I'm seeing a lot of trend now of people saying, "You invited me."
Mm-hmm.
as almost as if that's a free pass to I don't know, Co or
whatever they want.
Yeah, you know, and I told you this morning I had that guy who was like, "You invited me, so don't expect me to follow your rules." So it's like, what? But I'm seeing that a lot now. I don't know why. Yeah. I do. It's odd that you get these sort of bulk responses.
I had one the other day too, and it was just like, yeah, everybody gets invited now because there is no global chat, or, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you and I, we go through. We approach recruitment differently. We have the same ethics, but you and I use the recruitment tool differently, and we can go through that in another podcast, I guess. But yeah, and on how our approaches differ. I think we had touched upon it earlier.
We have touched upon it a couple times,
yeah. But I like to go through the route of get them in before you kick out, you know, the crap ones. Because, well, I don't kick them out because I see that they're crap. I give them the chance, and they end up having, one way or another, they end up causing themselves to be kicked out or to leave.
You've filled up the clan a couple times the last couple days.
Well, you know, I'm playing the odds. I'm getting them in the door. The rest is up to them, you know. And again, it's more about, for me, and I've touched upon it before, it's more about volume. I feel like you get one diamond in the rough in about like a bajillion people. So if I could just get them in and go churn them out, then I'll at least get a couple of extra people. You know, so and we have got 2 or 3 extra people we can put in war and give them a baptism of fire to see if they survive. So yeah, but and I'll keep doing that, and hopefully we'll get some good ones again, because it's all about we're never gonna stop recruiting until we have
No.
50 good people, and that's probably what never gonna happen with the
We're never. If we have 50, I will not survive with 50 people in the clan. I won't. No, I won't, because it's just too. Because you know me, like, I like to be in control, and with that many people in the clan, I
Yeah.
feel like I wouldn't have any control.
But
it gets overwhelming for me when we have 30 or 36 people in the clan that are relatively good and just trying to organize a war, or trying to make sure that everyone's happy. Like that, I can feel a little bit overwhelmed. So 50, I can promise you, will never happen.
well, it'd be nice if it did happen, but what I will say is it's not going to happen overnight. We try and build a good core of people. So, that number, if we do ever reach 50, which is highly unlikely, it would happen at like a snail's pace, where everyone's done their time, they know how our clan works. It's not. It would be the slowest curve up to 50. So, but yeah. So, because we will always be recruiting, because even like just this league has shown us, even with people that you feel are gonna be in the clan with us for the foreseeable future and are solid, they could just flick out and leave.
Well, and I don't think that we will ever get to that point, just because we've had co-leaders do that.
Mm-hmm. Life happens. That's what we always say.
Yeah,
life happens.
Life happens, and I mean that we had that one co-leader just, all of a sudden he was done.
Mm-hmm.
And went to start his own clan.
Yeah, so yeah, so we're always gonna be recruiting. So there's always gonna be getting cussed at, telling us our clan sucks, telling us that, it's just a game. Why are you so serious? And I'm like, it always makes me laugh that people think we're serious, because, I'm pretty sure if you tried joining any other clan that was equally as focused on war, they're probably gonna be as tough, or as, having the same expectations. But yeah, get cussed at, telling us that, we're useless and all that. It's all part of the fun, I guess. Just today, getting shown a replay because the base was obviously inappropriate, and that was them, flipping their finger at us before they left, and it's always, recruitment's always gonna have people like that, so but I think that leads nicely to our Can't Fix Stupid.
Yeah. I finally had one.
Yeah. Well, again, like I just want to caveat that doesn't mean that it's me. I'm not the common factor for these things.
It was definitely somebody you invited, though, because
really?
I've kind of been sticking to Town Hall 9 and up. Just today, I kind of invited some 7s and 8s that looked good. But this was a Town Hall 7. Came into the clan, and we gave him the normal spiel that we usually give people, and what we needed him to do, and he was cooking his army, and then all of a sudden he just spent 200 gems. I was like, okay, like, good for you. Not sure what you spent it on, but all the power to you, and whatever else. And then I don't know if he showed any, like, posted a replay or anything, and then it wasn't long after. I didn't make conversation with him because I was busy doing other things, and just kind of had the game on, and I was reading, and then he was disgusted because he just spent another 500 gems.
Oh gosh.
And so 500, I'm like, okay, like, what is this guy doing? Like, really? Like, why is he spending so many gems? I mean, I don't even spend 200 gems in a pop. Like, the most I spend is to get a trading potion. So what is that, 25? So, like, I was curious now. Like, he's spent 700 gems in the last 20 minutes or so. Like, what is he doing? So I asked, and he said he gemmed his army. I'm like, okay. I said, you realize that you can boost your barracks for 30 gems and your spell factory for 10 gems. That's 40 gems. You didn't need to spend 400.
I still don't understand how he managed to spend hundreds of gems gemming his army. Like, how many times did he gem his army?
He must have had, because when you gem an army, it goes by how long the army has left to cook. So he must have been cooking drags with only one barracks or something like that, and was gemming an army that took an hour and a half, almost 2 hours. Because I think if you have dragons with only one barracks, it takes about 2 hours to do an army. Right. So he must have been doing that. And I mean, if that was 500 gems and he wasted it on that, it's just like, why didn't you just gem your barrack, or like to boost your barracks and boost your spell factory? Like, it just, and I didn't say anything after. I was like, I was kind of speechless, and one of the other guys in the clan came on and he was crying, laughing, you know, the little emoji, because it was just like, why didn't you just boost your barracks and boost your spell factory? And then I remember commenting, I'm like, I got one!
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. Some people have more gems than sense sometimes, don't they?
Wouldn't be, like I said, I wouldn't be spending, I don't spend the only thing I spend gems on, I mean, I unlocked 2 bases, and the trading potions I buy, and the odd hero book, just because I still have heroes to do. Mm-hmm. But I know that I'm going to get those gems back in the season pass, because I do buy the season pass. And I know that once I'm maxed, I will get all of those gems back, because all the potions that are in there, all the books and stuff, I will be trading those in for gems. So I know that I'm going to get my gems back, so that's why I don't have a problem spending it on gems. I've never actually bought gems with money. I've only bought the gold pass, so I've never been that hard up for gems. So I'm not worried when I spend it on.
Yeah.
On.
But I guess it's probably a shame for him. But again, if he's got the gems to spend, is it fair to say he did not last in the clan very long?
No, he didn't.
So those 700 gems that he spent, just I don't think he got the value from them.
I feel kind of bad for him.
Okay, it's been a kind of a long one, so I'll let you wrap it up. Yeah. You know, it's amazing how once we start talking about things that annoy us, we can ramble on. But I guess that's the whole point of, you know, us doing this, because it helps us to remain sane when we go back to the recruiting, because we have this outlet, this cathartic outlet to have a wee moment.
So next one, hopefully there'll probably be some events by next weekend when we do another one. We are on 2 wins in a row with our regular wars right now, so we'll see how that turns out. I think the next war that we do, we'll be pushing on a red one, so hopefully that will be substituted with a green.
Well, baptism of fire, we'll see.
We've got 5 red ones in the log right now. It would be nice to go down to 4, just to have those red ones kind of pushed out at the bottom, and then after that, it'll be prepping for clan games, and you know, there's some exciting things happening with the championships. They've sent out some notes, so maybe there'll be more on that. Maybe, you know, something new will be coming out, and
I think one thing that I have ideas for topics that we can talk about. You know, along the same lines of why we do this podcast is so that we, talk about our clan, how we run things, but also so that we can just get out all that, frustration of how to manage a clan. But I think one thing that I think would be quite nice to do is one episode, doesn't have to be the next one, but one episode, I think it'd be nice to have a sort of, here are all the people that, left the clan in one way or another. Let's see where they are now. And see.
I can actually help with that. I can definitely help with that.
Let's see, was it the right decision or not? If they were kicked, was it the right decision? Should we have felt guilty that they left? Let's have where are these people now kind of thing.
I will get on that. I will go through our list and I will get them, and I will definitely, I can do that. Absolutely.
So yeah, I think, it doesn't have to be the next one, but I think it'd be an interesting one to do because we've been a clan for a long time now, so
yeah, no, let me work on that. I'll get something together. I'll make a spreadsheet.
But we can update that one with whether that Town Hall 10 tried to come back.
yeah, for sure.
Okay.
But yes, on that note, we will say goodbye until next time.
Okay, bye.
Bye.